We cannot trust the word of Lord Jamar. What up, word? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership, gang. Listen, there is so much to unpack with this Lord Jamar situation. I'm just glad I did not report on this yesterday because DJ Vlad has dropped yet another video with Lord Jamar. I believe it's part 4. And Lord Jamar actually explains why he reached out to Vlad first. And albeit it's a touching story, it does not excuse anything. And I frankly think it's a little, he's putting a little sauce on it to save face. He's claiming that he had a puppy when he went on Vlad TV. If you go over there and watch the video, and I'm not putting anything from Vlad TV. I already got a copy strike this month. About last week or so, 2 weeks at the most, and I'm not putting nothing else out of Vlad be striking, so I don't know. I'm not getting no copyright strike messing with Vlad, right? But end of the day, Vlad did put a video up, and Lord Jamar says his rest in peace to the dog, but his dog had just passed. He hasn't spoken to Vlad in 5 years. I want to read the article. We can have a conversation, but I just wanted to add some context that his dog that he had 5 years ago when the last time he was on Vlad. He had the puppy in his arms. So allegedly, according to Lord Jamar, he reached out to Vlad because the dog recently passed. I believe the dog passed a few days, if not weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago when these two linked up on the thing. And he went through, the dog gave him a flashback, and he went through his phone because the dog flashback made him think of Vlad. He went through his phone, went to the old texts that he had from Vlad, and he's scrolling. He's like, yo, Vlad was really my friend, right? So then he goes through, he sees an old text, and he hits a heart on it. That's how much he was touched by the text that him and Vlad. So Vlad hits a question mark. Allegedly, he responds immediately, like, what's this about? They start talking, yada, yada, and they decide to hash it out, and he's going to come back on the show. Now, we all know what this is about, but I want to have this conversation. Lord Jamar did a lot of funny, really, really shady business. I have quite a few videos on Lord Jamar. I say Lord Jamar is one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest rapper in rap right now with the flat earth theory when he got destroyed by Professor, right? And I think that Lord Jamar consistently puts his foot in his mouth and consistently tries to be bigger than he is. I did a video where he had an issue with how black Kamala Harris is. I did a video on that. So I have a history with Lord Jamar. His issues are all over the place. He got issues with everybody about everything. And it's just an old curmudgeon that's angry. Hip-hop has turned their back on him in a way because they used to champion. Lord Jamar was really championed by hip-hop in and of itself. He was one of those people that until he really went on Vlad and started to make certain comments. He made a lot of comments, not just the Eminem stuff that got him in trouble. Let's just be honest. The Eminem stuff triggered Eminem fans, but there were other comments by Lord Jamar, let's just be honest, that triggered a lot of people. And he started to get a lot of hate. But at the same time, a lot of people were still agreeing and rocking with Lord Jamar's sentiments. And they thought that he was one of us. They thought that he was very astute in his knowledge of black culture and especially hip hop and things of that nature. They liked it. They liked his Timberland boot. They liked his starter jacket, his New York approach. You know what I'm saying? Fat gold chain. Even though he don't really wear fat gold chain, but he had this New York boots on the ground approach to everything. He was very against a lot of stuff. He was boozy badass before boozy badass, right? And for a time it was good. And a lot of people rocked with Lord Jamar from the Vlad TV, but a lot of began to take issues with him. So he divided the culture. Let's just say a lot of times he went on there, almost every visit, one of those clips would go viral for something he said, and it would be divisive. Let's just be honest. So for years, I used to look at Lord Jamar like, some of the stuff you saying, gang, I don't know if you're trolling or you really believe this He-Man, woman haters attitude that he walked around with. But lo and behold, Lord Jamar stood firm on almost everything until he didn't. And Lord Jamar had this huge fallout with DJ Vlad, who was my man. That's my man. They was cool. They had texts back and forth, and they had this fallout over Louis Farrakhan. Now, I always say, first of all, you can't tell me when and who not to rock with, this and that and third. But that's what Lord Jamar is doing. That's what Lord Jamar did to Godfrey when Lord Jamar, right, and Godfrey still didn't go back. Lord Jamar, I believe Lord Jamar bullied Godfrey, I'm just going to be honest, into not going back to Vlad, because they both were getting paid to be on Vlad. They both were having a great time. They said their numbers were going up through the roof and this, that, and the third. I believe they used to go for free at first, but their numbers was going up through the roof, and I believe he started paying them, right? And let's just be honest, Lord Jamar's stock went up when he went on Vlad, and Godfrey's stock went up. Godfrey was just a regular dude trying to break comedy. Let's just be honest. When he started going on Vlad, his name, his buzz went up lots. He became a household name in this community, right? Like, you may have heard of Godfrey before that, but he really blew up from going on those Vlad TV interviews, especially when they went together. So I believe when they had this fallout over Vlad's comments, over Farrakhan, and I'm going to read that conversation, I believe that Lord Jamar put the press on Godfrey to not go. Godfrey's very open-minded. Godfrey will go anywhere and talk to anybody. I feel like he got kind of brainwashed, manipulated a little bit to stop going over there. I'm not saying he don't think for himself, but Godfrey seems like he would have been okay going in there and having that conversation with Vlad. But let me just say this. After they fell out with Vlad, Vlad was a culture war, just that and the third. And I didn't like, and I said this several times, I'm not here to defend anybody, but to me, if I helped you, Lord Jamar wouldn't have had a podcast without DJ Vlad. So Vlad may be this, that, and the third, but at some point, okay, if you have a fallout with him, okay, I'm not going back on the show, okay. Lord Jamar proceeds to talk mad trash about the dude, calling him this, that, and the third. I don't like that. I don't care who it is. Like, if you help me get where I am, and we have a fallout, okay, we have a fallout, I'm just gonna move on. I'm not gonna make 6 months of comments calling you an asshole, right? That's just me. I'm not gonna make 6, 8, 9 months, 10 months of comments about this, that, and the third, calling you every name in the book when you know you're my man, right? And obviously, I'm low-key right, because here we are 5 years later, and you're clicking hearts on old text messages, hitting them up, having heart-to-heart conversations, and now you're back on this platform, right? That's why you don't do that. Like when Mobb Deep fell out, and Havoc started saying all this stuff about Prodigy, and he's gay, and this and that and the third. I'm like, why? This was your man for years. Why is he this, that, and the third? He ain't real. He ain't even from the bread. I mean, all this, like, he ain't even from Queens, all this shit. And then they got back together. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, yo, all of that sound good until you send a heart emoji to a guy, right? Because you in your feelings about your puppy. So here we are. I want to have this conversation because, once again, Lord Jamar is here with egg on his face after he told Godfrey not to go back. And then when him and Godfrey fell out, which I thought was some other sucker shit, you turned your back on Godfrey. You start lying on Godfrey, right? You're starting to look like you're kind of untrustworthy, gang. I'm just going to be honest. You start lying on Godfrey, talking about they set you up, they drugged you. When you went to the thing and did your flat earth spiel and it didn't work, right? Professor tore your ass up, made you look bad. It was real bad, real bad. And you try to start lying, talking about Godfrey and the ex-pimp Dante drugged you and this, that, and the third. And I made a whole video about that. Might have made 2 of them. And you call Godfrey everything with a name, a God, a child, and you talking about we're going to see about that, da-da-da. You talking about suing him and all that. So every time we look back, you're doubling up on some nonsense. Right? You're turning your back on friends, calling them every name in the book. Let's see how long it takes before him and Godfrey make up, right? This is what I'm saying. You don't do all this stuff in the media. You don't do all these things that you're doing in the public eye. And then on top of all that, when you and Godfrey fell out, Lord Jamar said Godfrey was going to go back to Vlad. He said he probably going to sell out and go back to Vlad. So why are you there? If this issue was this strong, why are you back on Vlad TV, Lord Jamar? We can't trust you. Your word means nothing. And we obviously don't feel the same way as you do about these issues. Because when I'm standing on something, it's going to take a whole lot more than rest in peace to the dog, right? But it's going to take a whole lot more than that to get me to start going back on your platform when I called you every name in the book but a child of God. Then I told everybody on earth, don't mess with you no more. And I got Godfrey to stop going, and then you go back yourself? It's a little different, gang. It's weird. Let me have this conversation. Lord Jamar and DJ Vlad reflect on their fallout over Louis Farrakhan comments. Lord Jamar explained how he took issue with how DJ Vlad misquoted and criticized Minister Louis Farrakhan and his comments on Jewish people. This was a couple years ago. Lord Jamar had plenty of spicy hip-hop takes over the years, and he used to make a lot of media with DJ Vlad. But in 2020, a controversy involving Vlad and Louis minister Farrakhan terminated their personal and professional relationship until now. So basically, he walked away in a huff. Mind you, Vlad was one of the people. Lord Jamar didn't even believe he could do the podcast. Vlad kept telling him, "You could do the podcast. I want to help you." I believe he kicked in financially. And he went on there to help the podcast blow up. And them numbers was low until Vlad went on and da-da-da. So the God Pod with Lord Jamar became what it is with Rod Digger, Lord Jamar, and Godfrey, who all doing the God Pod together for about 2-3 years, right? And they held that show down. They kept it going, da-da-da. But I just started seeing something in Lord Jamar that I couldn't reconcile. I couldn't put my finger on it. So I really stopped watching that show. I'm just going to be honest. It was too many inconsistencies. But let me continue. The two rap personalities and commentators reunited for the first time in 5 years on Vlad's platform. Sharing a lengthy, multifaceted interview to start things off, they spoke about their falling out. According to him, he and Vlad developed a professional friendship that went beyond their content collaborations. While many people in the Brand Nubians MC's circle were very critical of the interviewer, he always defended him and stood by him as a good dude. However, Jamar felt like Vlad made the wrong move concerning Farrakhan. So what happened was, they had an issue where Vlad saw a meme, right? It was an unproven meme. It wasn't real. It attributed some comments to Minister Louis Farrakhan. Vlad, I believe, either retweeted the meme or spoke on the meme or spoke on what was said in the meme, and it made a lot of people upset because those comments weren't real. They weren't really by Louis Farrakhan, okay? So what happened was they were telling him, Lord Jamar, amongst other people, Godfrey, amongst other people, were telling Vlad, yo, Vlad, you're wrong. This meme is wrong. What you're saying about the minister, Louis Farrakhan, is you're incorrect, and you need to apologize and make a retraction. And Vlad, at that time, for some reason, decided he was getting pressure that he didn't want to cave to. He got stubborn and decided he wasn't going to apologize. His hubris and his ego made him defend something that wasn't even true, and he refused to get bullied into, according to him, bullied into apologizing, even though he knew it was wrong. Which right there, he was wrong. He should have just said, I never understood it even when it happened. I'm like, you're saying yourself that it's wrong, and you're saying that you admit that the information you got, which was the apology he put, it wasn't an apology, he just made a statement. The information I got was wrong, blah, blah, blah. But he wouldn't apologize to Louis Farrakhan. And he went so far as to say, I'll apologize to him if he comes on my show and does an interview, thinking monetarily. You see what I'm saying? Thinking monetarily. He's completely wrong. And I went on his post. I'm blocked at this point from DJ Flag. I don't know if it was about those posts, but I looked up one day about a year or so ago, and I'm blocked from DJ Flag's Twitter anyway. I don't know why. But I did go at him for that. I was like, bro, you low-key are being really ridiculous right now. If you know that this, if you're supposed to be a journalist of some sort, you're a journalist. So at some point, it's okay to say, oh, I was giving false information. No, he wouldn't feed into it. He wouldn't bite, da-da-da. People start giving him death threats, so that made him dig in even more, right? Which is what we do as humans. We get caught up in, we want to be, we don't want to be looked at as soft, da-da-da. But he wouldn't retract it, da-da-da. Well, he fake retracted it, but it wasn't a real heartfelt, like, listen, I'm wrong, da-da-da. They wanted him to put the exact wordings to it. He said no, so Lord Jamar and them took a stance. Lord Jamar was like, listen, me and Godfrey are two of your biggest contributors. And at the time, it seemed like, okay, they were, but they really weren't. He had a bunch of people, and all he did when they left was get more people, right? But at the time, Lord Jamar was like, listen, we going to hurt him in his pockets because he's not listening. He even said, I offered Vlad to write the apology for him, which is weird, right? Which is weird. He said it on the last, I watched three of this new interview thing, and he said he offered to ghostwrite the apology for Vlad, which is crazy to me, low key. I'm just going to be honest. How can I forgive you if I got to write the apology for you? I make that make sense, gang. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. You going to write the apology? It ain't making no sense, gang. Lord Jamar, I don't know, man. It's weird, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. So, long story short, him and Godfrey threatened to pull out. So, of course, what's a guy that's standing on business and he's stubborn and he's feeling threatened and he's feeling like he's backed into a corner? What are you gonna do? He gonna say, well, that's how you got. If that's how you feel and that's what you got to do, then do what you got to do. So they pull back. So here we are 5 years later after Lord Jamar has repeatedly disrespected this man year after year when his name comes up in some heinous ways. Gang, it's stuff that the way this guy talk about this guy, I wouldn't even want to be friends with him. I'm just gonna be honest. But at the end of the day, he went and hit the heart on the whatever text it was. Lord Vlad was like, I didn't even remember what text. I didn't even remember what this was in regards to. I just saw you heart a random text that's 5 years old. So I had to hit you up and find out what's going on. Now we all know that this YouTube place is a scary place. Okay, when your main source of income is YouTube, it can be scary because at any moment you can go up, you can go down. Look at Mav Hoffa. Right? They said Mav Hoffa was doing 200 grand a month until he wasn't, right? And we can attribute it to a lot of things with him and Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar stood firm on his MAGA, his affiliation with he who shall not be named, right? He stood by him, called Kamala Harris a bitch and all this other stuff, right? Reluctantly apologized, but he meant that shit, right? All kind of stuff Lord Jamar went and did that made that channel go down, 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 right? And as you looked up, people started the whole flat earth thing. He looked so crazy. It's not even just that you lost the flat earth debate. You spun it and turned on all your friends and try to make them into the bad guy. You're on your live talking about, should I sue? I might sue. Like you talk about suing a guy that did nothing to you. Everybody who watched the flat earth debate was like, Lord Jamar is out of his depth and he's dumb, right? But you took it like, no, it's not that I'm dumb. They must have drugged me. I would have said, so what you would have said better? You sound dumb. It's gravity, gang. Let's leave it alone. Right? Just leave it alone. You don't have the just admit you don't know enough about the earth to say it's flat or round. You don't know enough either way. It shouldn't be a topic you're discussing. Okay? But you try to turn it on your friends and you try to make it like, yo, you guys did this and that. You talked about his integrity. Right? You try to make it like he's a sucker. He tried to play you. They set you up. They drugged you, all this stuff in the third. So that stuff contributed to your channel. People started to unsubscribe. So now we get into the meat of the bones. The money ain't there no more. Because people don't believe you no more. Think about how many people in your comments or on your page that subscribe to your channel that know for a fact that the earth is round. Okay, they might could get past that, but when you're adamant about it and you're losing friends and you're battling and you're loud, and they start being like, this guy's a freaking fool. So they start to unsubscribe. Then when they're there for Godfrey and Godfrey leaves, they go to Godfrey. They unsubscribe to you, as they should. They should go to Godfrey platform because he kept it a buck and you didn't. So that's why they leave. And so now the channel is in jeopardy. I'm almost certain. I don't watch God Pod at all anyway. I haven't watched the shit in 2 years. So it's not, I can't say whether it's whatever, but I'm almost certain that the numbers are down over there. Well, what's a shot in the arm to get the numbers up? You got to think, if I got 500,000 subscribers, it's like 300 million people on YouTube. So I can find new people. But how do I find new people? I need a shot in the arm. Vlad TV. What shot me in the arm in the first place? Vlad TV. Now, if I can make up with Vlad, get this shot in the arm, the God Pod up and running all over again, now I can get a whole new funnel, a whole new brand of fool up in here. Right? Just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest. Lord Jamar, you watch these podcasts. When I was watching, they just got it long, and he not technology kind of eludes him, and he don't know if the sound's on and this and that, and the camera's all fuzzy. And I'm like, gang, Challz, why you watch so many other creators that have crystal clear, the optics are beautiful, the sounds good. Why am I over here with Jamar looking like he's on a flip phone? Right? It look crazy. I'm not watching this no more. I got standards, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. So I stopped watching it. It's just like I don't care no more. I really don't care, right? And it just was all over the place. It was always mad about this, just bitter, just talking about nonsense. So I just got away from it. Just gonna be honest. So now here we are. I believe that Lord Jamar, with all this talk about the puppy, the dog, and this and that and the third, was rest in peace. I got 2 dogs. I wouldn't know what to do. These dogs pass away. But at the same time, it's deeper than the dog, right? You could be nostalgic. You could even hit like and Y'all can kick it, back and forth for a month. That don't mean you go back on the platform wearing the shorts that match the wallpaper in his room. This is getting a little weird. It's crazy, gang. So it didn't have to go this far, right? And I get it. Some people may say, like, listen, Challz, forgiveness is divine. If this brother had a real friendship with this brother. See, this is where I get in. This is where I have problems, right? This is where I get into problems when people try to say, yo, he had a real friendship with this brother. He saw the error of his ways. He's trying to be a godly man. You could say all that. But at the same time, you really talk really disrespectful about this man when he wasn't around, when you wasn't around for that 5 years. That's my problem. And then not so much as 2 months ago, you said that Godfrey was going to crawl back. That couldn't have been no more than 2 months ago. Godfrey going to crawl back. But you crawled back first. Godfrey didn't even go. He said he ain't going. So that's where my problem at. Yeah, okay, we could come. We can say, okay, let's a spiritual meeting. We can freaking just agree to this. We could talk, work it out. You do not have to go back on that man's platform and go back on your word. So that part, I'm not buying. You could be friends for the next 10 years and never set foot on that platform. So I'm not buying that. Oh, on a spiritual level, I realize that we really are friends. You ain't got to do business though. Friendship and business don't mix. That's why your thing went sour in the first place. Because you wouldn't have made a whole spectacle about Vlad if you didn't call him a friend. You just would have stopped going. Right? But now he's my friend. You're going to ghostwrite his apology, this, that, and the third. That's where the problem comes in. So you can be friends without doing business. But now you're back on the platform. Guess what it looked like to us? It looked like you need the money. It looked like you're desperate. It looks like you're hurting for money. You want new subscribers because all the old ones gone. Just like Math Hoffa, trying to rebuild a brand. Right? So to the naked eye, to us, it looked fugazi. It looked like you're full of shit. And it looked like you're on some, like, let me just go out here and catch some new heads, right? To me. And I get it. You're for you to be such you're a very proud man. For you to go back on that show means you're swallowing a lot of pride. I don't know if that show is worth a lot of the pride you're going to swallow, so it got to be something else. And I think it's the money. And that's okay. You need the money, that's fine. Don't make it like, yo, I'm going to forgive you, Vlad, Just, you would have been better on just going on there being like, yo, what's good? Like, we just talking like Answer the questions and just keep it moving. It's going to look weird if Jamar answering questions about anything other than, I don't know how long this interview is. It's going to look weird hearing Lord Jamar talk about Diddy. It's going to look really weird. I don't know how far this interview, they only 4 or 5 clips saying, this shit gonna have 100 clips. So I don't know where this thing gonna go that's gonna make people really wanna still sit and listen to Jamar's opinion. Because at this point, how can we believe you? How can we trust anything you say when you said all this stuff about the great minister Farrakhan was disrespected and you wasn't gonna have it? This was for the black people. All these black people rode with you on that. Yeah, Vlad's a culture vulture, F Vlad. All these people rode at your behest. You told all these black people, yo, this guy don't respect the black people. The minister Farrakhan didn't deserve that. You made it a whole race thing, and now you're back in there. What happened to the racial component that you try to hit us with? Now you're back. I guess race don't matter no more, huh? And I'm not even going to crack on the fake Jordans they said that Jamar had on the picture. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you guys. I'm not doing this. They said that Lord Jamar had the Jordans you get in what's that joint? Burlington Coat Factory. Listen, I'm not doing this with you guys. I'm staying focused. First things first, man. Jamar, we don't trust you no more. We think you're a fraud. Me personally, I don't know what these people are saying. I'm looking at the comments and all of them feeling the same way. It's like 95% calling Jamar a fraud. 95% in the comments saying, Jamar, you should have never went back here. You turned your back and we can't trust you. So you hurt your credibility worse by going back on this show. I don't know who's going to rock with you at this point. I've seen some slimy people go on Vlad TV. Let's just be honest. Some gangsters, some killers. It's all kind of people going on Vlad and Jamal looking like he one of the worst ones going there because he can't stand on his word. So I'm going to leave it at this. I don't believe that Lord Jamar is there for sentimental value. I think it's a monetary gain. He's trying to get his subscribers back up and his show's struggling. How you end up back on there before Godfrey? I think Godfrey's show is doing pretty well. Last time I checked. Godfrey knows what he's doing over there. And I think Jamar not really that great at not great at just telling stories and I don't think he's good at this anyway, especially by himself. So I think that's just even beyond all of the we don't trust you, this, that, and the third. I also think all the political stuff, this and that. I just think Lord Jamar ain't that good at this in the first place. I'm just going to be honest. He's not that good at it. So this is why this is happening. Now he's back on Vlad. He's going to be, I'm sure, I'm going to put money that there will be an Eminem question. I'm going to put there will be an Eminem question in there. And he might even get political. So let me know what you think, man. I'm out of here. Let me know what you think about this. Get in the comments, man. I'm very curious to know if y'all feel like you can still trust Lord Jamar, because I really don't. I haven't really believed in what Jamar said in a long time, just going to be honest. All right, head on over to black-yeti.com. Make sure you let them know who sent you. They ship all over the country. They got something for everybody. All right, also every Wednesday night we go live on The What Show. Me, TJ, and Flares. We talk about a lot of hip-hop and urban news, and we get into sports and all kind of fun. So we talk about old movies. We have fun over there. So make sure you come through, get in the chat. We got at least 200 people in there at all times. So come check it out, see what's going on. All right, I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.